back to 4,000 Counting YouTube channel. I am Watty, and I am joined today by Streatham RedHawks captain Ryan Watt, my brother. And we are going to look ahead to this big weekend where they play Slough back to back. There is an opportunity for Streatham to go 3 in a row. So, what's the feeling for the boys? Obviously, there is a chance to go three in a row. How the camp feeling this week?
We're feeling pretty confident. Obviously 21-1 this year, I think. I don't know. We're feeling good. Our practices, I say, the Christmas have been intense.
Who did you lose to?
We lost to Solent.
That's any game.
That was in Streatham, yeah.
And obviously, you boys were in the cup at the start of the year. You won 5 games, but then didn't go through. What happened there? Because I literally had no idea. I was wondering. I saw you'd won 5 games, but then I saw they had announced the dates, and you guys weren't in like the semis or the final.
Vanny got suspended at the playoff finals last year in the Mountain Keynes. Sat the final, sat the game in Coventry against Solway, then sat the two pre-season games this year. We thought we had clarification from the league that his games were sat. We played our first 3 cup games, won them, and then turns out Vanny was ineligible. So we ended up losing our first 3 cup games to 5-0 forfeits.
Okay.
Otherwise, we would have been chasing 4 trophies again this year.
Yeah, that sucks. I remember that now. I was just all the way back at the start of the season. It seems like so long ago. So you have Slough back to back this weekend for a chance to win. You beat them 8-0 in their own barn, I believe, 9-0, something like that.
Yeah, no, last weekend. Yeah.
Last weekend. So is there anything in particular that you boys are looking to do or change, or is it just more of the same stuff?
Last week our game plan basically was to let them know that we were coming into play and we were going to set the tone for this weekend. Last weekend,
yeah,
starting and warm up. Brandon just letting them know that we were there to be serious and we were there to take the 2 points. This weekend, I think it'll be very much the same. They're a young team. Smiths has got them well drilled. Quite a dirty team. A lot of face cages running around. But you know, we've got a tough team. We've got 3 first lines. We're stacked throughout. I'm pretty confident we'll get the job done this weekend. So
you're suspended this weekend, toting up a penalty points.
Yeah.
Brandon's just served his penalty point ban.
Yeah.
Who steps up and takes your role on that line for the weekend? So they've had some good young kids coming through at the moment.
Yeah, so we've got two defensemen from the under-18s, Preston Toombs and Emil Oskanen, and he's a Finnish Brit, and then we've got a Polish Brit forward, Max Masalak or something. He in 2 years' time he'll score 40 points in the National League as an 18-year-old. He's 16. He skates like an import, shoots like an import. He's stacked. He loves working out. He loves running guys. He's a great kid. He got man of the match this weekend. So he blew his knee out over Christmas when he first got called up, and then we had 10 forwards. He was getting spotted in and out the lineup. On Saturday against Invicta was his first real game for regular minutes. I think he had 2 and 1, man of the match. Boys could give him a hard hat after the game.
Nice.
He gave a good little speech. He's happy to be there, and so he's been good. Last 2 or 3 weekends, Jared's really stepped up his game.
Jared Lane?
Yeah, not so much the physical side, but he's got his hands going. He's looking like
offensive production,
looking like the Guildford Phoenix Jared, and Bailey as well. The last few weeks, it's looking like Bailey from last season and the season before. He had a hell of a game on Saturday against Invicta. He was first in the forecheck. He was running guys. He's another guy he'll stand up for his teammates. With me out the lineup, he can do it. Paints can do it. Henry can do it. Jordan Gregory can do it.
Yeah,
we've got enough guys to.
Danny Inglesby
doesn't want to, but I recommend that anyone in our league probably stays away from him.
Yeah, he's pretty tough.
Pretty tough. I had a good one with him 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah, we'll chuck that video in there right now.
The spark was needed for the hosts, and straight off the resulting draw, Ryan Watt and Danny Inglesby met at neutral ice. fair battle with an instant show of respect between the pair at the end.
I catch him with the first one. See, he was my captain when I was
conference.
I was a conference coach. He was my captain, and I always knew he was a lefty. So I was talking to him throughout the square off. Oh, you're a lefty, and he's like, got confused. I caught him with the first one, and then we went toe to toe, and we both threw and landed as good as each other.
Yeah, that was good too. I was there for that game actually. I sat up in the press box. The season has been as expected. You boys to be right there at the top. Solent have had a good year. They're behind you. Does it give you that extra bit of spark trying to get these 2 wins this weekend with being Solent in second place? Obviously after COVID gate and all the bullshit of cancelling the league and everything that went on there. What's it like with them chasing you?
They've been chasing us for 3 years. They can stay behind us all we want. We don't like them.
Yeah.
We want to get our 2 wins against Slough. We want to win the next 4 games after that. We want to win the next 2 games in the playoffs. We just want to keep winning until we face Solway. That's a game that everyone that was on the team last year has been looking forward to. Obviously, we played. They were a good team in Coventry. They were well drilled. Yeah. They pretty much ran our show for 60 minutes.
You boys were very good.
But we also had 8 forwards. We had the best player in the league, Vanya, in the stands. Yeah. And myself wasn't playing. So if we can get back to playing them with a full team, that'll be exciting for all the National League fans to watch that game before the EPL final. Still call it the EPL, even though it's not.
I agree. I think we kind of got cheated out of a really good game last year with the fact that you wasn't playing, Vanny wasn't playing. The decision that happened a week before at the NIHL South playoffs in Milton Keynes. I mean, we spoke to Farney about that. So go check out episode 200. Mac and Farney, they came on. We spoke in depth about it there. Thanks, Gay. Sky, shush. Dog's getting involved in the YouTube videos now. Yeah, so I think we kind of got cheated out of what would have been a very good game. I think Streatham were very flat. They didn't really offer much in the way of competition. Solway, as you say, they were very well drilled. They came hard. They played well, and they ultimately deserved the win, I thought. Would be interesting to see how it is with yourself and Vanny in the lineup. It's a completely different lineup. I imagine if that gets to that stage, Malik will be back in the mix as well. We just saw him get man of the match, I think, twice this weekend for MK, scored a couple of goals. It's a promising situation for Streatham. With regards to Solway, is there anyone that kind of stood out for you watching last year that you thought would do well, maybe in the NIHL 1 South or in the National League?
I couldn't name names right now, but they were solid. But looking through their stats, Scott Henderson and Jonathan McBain, he just came off a good GB20s over Christmas. They've both got 50, 60 points, I think, in that league. It'll be interesting to see them match up against our guys.
Yeah, because I think it's a different look for you boys this year with no Farney. Paint stepping behind, well, I say stepping behind the bench, he's still playing, and he's started second in the team and scoring as well, I think. What's it been like for Ben settling in and taking his first year as coach?
Do you know, we won the last 2 leagues with rookie coaches, with Kazi, and then Farney. Paints has been just as good as those guys. He'll let you know in training if you're dogging it. He'll keep everyone accountable. But then in the period break, so we were 1-1 with Invicta, probably our worst period of hockey, and he didn't come in screaming and shouting like some coaches would. He just told us what needed to change and what he was expected, and held guys accountable. And we went out and we turned it on at the weekend. I love playing for him.
He's a beauty, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a beauty. Like you said, he's been scoring points again this year. But I think all the guys want to play and want to win for him.
Well, it looks like that's going to happen if you boys manage to get 4 points out of the remaining 12. I don't think there's going to be that many issues in getting it over the line. So he is most likely going to win the title in his rookie season. How's it being playing at High Road this year? Because every picture I see on Instagram seems to be rammed at that place.
We had a lot of one-game weekends this year. It's obviously with us going out in the cup. That means we're missing semi-final and a final. Only playing 28 league games, so 14 home games. This year we've had a few more Saturday games, and it's bring your own booze, bring your own food, just no glass bottles.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So the guys are in there getting tanked up. They're cheering for hooking penalties. This generally don't get many away fans in Streatham, so it's all home fans, and the away blocks filled with Streatham guys. And we can hear them cheering the Zamboni in the period. When the Zamboni goes past the corner, they're all up clapping and having a good time. Ziggy's got a fan club. I think 15 folk come and watch Ziggy every week.
I suppose he lives in London, doesn't he? So he's probably working there, got friends coming.
Apart from Ben and Josh and when they get announced, you can hear
Bella.
You hear Bella giving them props, but then Ziggy gets the most cheers from his little fan club.
So you had a tilt last week. How are the hands feeling?
Yeah, good. I missed it. Yeah, that was
credit to that kid, but he didn't check the game notes.
No, well, yeah, he's trying to fight Jared, who's probably never had a fight in his life. I did ask him. I wasn't expecting him to drop his stuff. I kind of wanted to ham it off. Let's go to centre race and give everyone a show. But yeah, to be fair to him, he dropped his gloves and fought, but he held on to the middle of my shot, so I'm let Simon Rakes to choose from.
Yeah, didn't do too good. Talk about a tough weekend for Stokes. He gets called up from the Mustangs, and then he has a fight with Brando on the Saturday, and then the following night with one of the Bartletts. That's a tough go when you're just getting called up.
Props to him. I said to Fosco it was a submarine. He went really low on Brandon. Yeah. As Brandon got up, he dropped his glove in a stick, but he gave that. I don't think he's a kid. I think he's a man. He gave him a chance to drop his stuff, and then it was just Brando throwing punches from a car park. Yeah, absolute back scratches. And then seen the video of him. I don't know if it was Grant or Cameron. They both fought yesterday. But yeah, he catches Stokes with a switch up on the left hand. I don't know if his name Stokes actually. Yeah. Sorry about that. But yeah, he drops him with the left hand.
Talking about those Bartletts real quick. I've only actually seen them at the finals in Milton Keynes. I've seen videos and stuff. I was really impressed with them, and I always wondered why they maybe didn't make that step up. Do you think they could have?
Yeah.
Still
could. For the old hockey fans and the Bees fans, they are like Danny Hughes. They just take 10 slaps, breakaways, clappers, bar down. Like Jared blocked a Bartlett clap up, cracked his leg pad in half.
Yeah. Kids can shoot the puck.
They can shoot the puck. They can both fight a little bit, I think. But I believe their dad's like the GM and Champs would their champs would through and through. I mean, I would love to have them in Streatham.
I think that's a hard sell to the old man, though.
Yeah, I would like to centre the two of them. That would be.
They're good players.
They're good players, but there'd be a lot of suspensions and a lot of flashes. Yeah, but no, that credit to both of them. They're good players.
Speaking of being suspended, you got suspended at the start of the year for a hit. What was it was weird because it got announced as, I think, initially a 2-minute penalty, and then it was a 5-minute penalty, and then you carried on in the game, and then it was upgraded to 12 games, and then it was downgraded to 10 games.
Yeah.
And you find out on the way to the rink, or on the way to, I believe, Solent.
On the way to Gosport, yeah. 5 years ago, it's not a 2-minute penalty.
Yeah.
I've seen the video. It's not great. It's kind of do kind of get the kid high. But it's more his head hitting the glass than me hitting his head.
Right.
But because he's injured, it gets upgraded from tier 1 to tier 2, and then got 49 on my back, so probably helps adding a couple extra games on that.
Yeah, it's interesting, especially at that league, because some of these guys haven't played hockey before. Some of them fucking can't play hockey, and then you got guys like yourself and other dudes in that league that have played Elite League, that have played EPL, that played BNL, that are then stepping down. They're used to hitting John Craighead and Mike Ware, and now you're hitting a guy that
with 7 stone.
It's a bit different, and I don't think that ever gets taken into consideration. I remember Even just as a 16-year-old, I remember my year in the Elite League in Basingstoke, like battling with guys, like I just said, Jason Bowen, 6'6", Jason Ruff, 6'5", all these big monsters.
That Belfast team, that was a tough team.
That Belfast team was a tough team. And then coming back and playing in the under-19 playoffs and hitting a kid from Romford in the corner, the exact same way I would go into a hit during the regular season in the Elite League, folded him in half and got kicked out of the game. And I think I got like a 5-game sussy.
No, the bigger suspension than that. And the Romford player was Phil O'Neill.
It was Phil O'Neill.
He'd stole lanes and stuff.
Well, I don't think to be fair, I'm downplaying it a little bit. The suspension actually came for jumping Ben Osborne on the way back across when I got kicked out of the game. Big Ben skated over. I don't think he wanted to fight me, but he didn't really have a choice.
That's the thing. You were 16, and I remember when you got back and you're like, oh, I ended up grabbing Jason Bowen and a 5-on-5 lane melee. Last week, all I had were from Slough and the Slough bench was, oh, he's 16, he's 17. If you hit a guy from behind or go knee on knee or you skate 150 feet into a pile, I'm not asking for your boss certificate. There's plenty of guys in our league that wear cages that are men.
True.
If you're 16 or if you're 26, you're playing senior hockey. If you want to do that stuff, you got to be held accountable.
Well, it comes down to answering the bell, and you're seeing it. It's kind of making its way back into the NHL a little bit. Guys having to answer the bell a little bit more. We saw in the Elite League a bit of excitement between the Flames and the Devils last night. Down in your league, Chelmsford and Victor, they were going at it. Swindon and Telford, they were going at it. It's getting towards playoff hockey. The intensity steps up. The 2 points that are on the line make a bigger difference than they did maybe in fucking September, but not necessarily that. But it feels that way.
Yeah,
it feels that way when you're getting close to the playoffs. Everybody's got that heightened sense of like maybe a little bit more aggression just to get over the line. I kind of agree with you when it comes to like the 16-year-olds. Now, I played junior hockey when you could fight. You could fight at under 19. So myself and Joe Green were playing up. We'd be fighting at under 19s as 14-year-olds, 15-year-olds, because we knew we were going to play against men and we were going to have to do it. So I knew from a very young age that I was going to. Me and you used to do it in practice when we were very young. Practice
every Monday and Wednesday.
Every Monday and Wednesday for weeks and weeks and weeks and months and years. And that's how you learn how to switch up. That's how you learn how to grab. That's how you learn how to throw and not be scared to take a punch and give a punch. But going back to being the 16-year-old, then I didn't say to Mark Morrison when I was fighting in Belfast or Rob Stewart in Belfast again, actually. I can't remember who I fought in London. But I was 16, 17 that year. I wasn't going to them. I'm a fully grown man. I was saying, wait there, let me get my cage off.
Yeah.
So if you're going to play that role, you have to understand what comes with it. And what comes with it is a couple of face punches every now and again.
Young Archie Salisbury from Chelmsford, 16, instigated pretty much and happily took on Brandon, the toughest guy in the league.
Fair play to him.
Fair play to him. Like he was happy to drop the gloves and answer the bell and throw down with a tough guy. Done fairly well.
He did do really well.
Yeah, done fairly like maybe it would have been different if they squared off. But
I mean, it would have been different.
But
if they squared off, but
it's the fact that he's 16, he's playing that role, and he will drop his gloves, and they don't have everyone from the Chelmsford bench going, "Oh, he's only 16 or he's 17."
They didn't care. They just got on with the game.
We're playing. We're not playing junior hockey. They're playing senior hockey. It happens.
Yeah.
I'm not letting a kid blow out Vanny's knee on a knee-to-knee hit and just, or not even Vanny, anyone on the team. Yeah. And it's not just me. We've got team toughness where if someone gets hit from behind or someone does get kneed or speared,
I think even if you don't
someone
have team,
coming in.
I think even if you don't have team toughness, even if you're, I don't know, maybe an MK Thunder or someone like that, if you're stood there and you're stood next to someone who's just gone knee on knee with your players, drop your gloves. You don't have to be tough. No one gives a shit if you win the fight or if it's a toe-to-toe war. If you grab the guy and try and just
wrestle him down.
Who cares? You're being there for your teammate.
You're being there for your teammate and your friend and the guy that you'll spend 3 or 4 nights a week with for 7-8 months of the year. Like, they're your friends and you're looking out for them.
Yeah, I agree. Speaking of the young guys, though, obviously we look more like the agitating side. Let's look at some of the young guys that are in that league that are good and could potentially maybe step up to a better team in the league or potentially get the step up to the National League in the next couple of years. TJ Anderson.
TJ
I was going
Anderson.
to ask you about him because I think he's playing already with the Raiders.
Yeah, he's up and down the Raiders.
He had a scrap recently, not a bad one.
Did he?
Yeah,
He's another one. He's probably like 7 or 8 stone.
Really?
He's got good hands. He seems to be the only guy from Romford that scores against us, and he seems to
turns up against big teams.
Had a hat trick against us in Romford 2 weeks ago. I think he had 5 or 6 points in Oxford on Sunday. He's a good player. Once he gets a bit more size on, I'm sure. Sure, Sean Easton will have him full time in Romford with the top team.
Sean's done a good job this year.
Yeah, I've just seen they've got their playoff spot. Who else from around the league?
Yeah, what a turnaround for them, by the way. Shout out to the Raiders this year. Completely turned the roster around, made changes, brung back Harry Gulliver. I mean, they even started.
Obviously, Aaron Conley's still leading the way, scoring points, being a captain that the guys going to play for.
That Gomerick's a fucking player as well, by the way.
I'm not seen. I've seen his
plays. He can play.
Obviously, they took Alex Roberts from Bristol, who was at Basingstoke and at Streatham the year that I wasn't there. He
can snipe in that league.
He can snipe, yeah.
I always say though, it'd be my dream to play against.
Like,
gotta switch him up,
put him
into the car park, cutting into the middle.
You would do that so often. That back checker on the guy,
late back checker,
guy cutting across. Yeah. You used to do it, and Muzzy used to do it.
Well, because nowadays everyone thinks you need to toe drag to score a fucking goal, and let me tell you, I think I don't know. I played 500 games, got X amount of goals. 2 of them were toe drags. One of them backhand through Joseph Sladdock's stick. I always remind Slads of that. But yeah, like it doesn't have to be like that. Like a prime example, Liam Morris is arguably the fastest guy in that National League. He can wheel this week, and I love Mo. He's been on the show and stuff. He's down and he's got a yard of pace wide on the MK defenseman. If he carries on taking that, he goes straight to the net and gets a shot off. But he tries to cut back, and I think it's just an easy night for the D-man if you're going to do that, because most D-men in that National League now are solid, dependable. You're not going to beat them through their stick and skates on a like a angled back check. It's not going to work. So I'd love to see more guys with the wheels. Who's kind of like the quickest guys in your league? Who's wheeling around?
Alex White for MK Thunder. I know he's on a bottom place team. If you put him on any of the other teams, if he plays for Streatham, he's getting 30, 40, 50 points. He's quite, apart from Vanya, he's probably the quickest guy in the league.
He's a Peterborough kid, right?
Peterborough kid, I think he lives in Coventry or something. But
yeah, it's bizarre that nobody's taken a chance on him.
He's been at MK Thunder for a while. Yeah, he's fast.
I do wonder why no one's taken a proper go at him, because he was obviously in the Peterborough setup when he was still a junior.
I think he came up through Peterborough with hooky.
Yeah, that sort of age, and he's always been a good player on that bad MK Thunder team. And you got to feel a bit for MK Thunder, because although they're not the greatest team in the world, when you lose Flats and TC at the same time from your roster, that's a massive chunk.
I think they've got 12, 13 players right now.
That's tough.
They don't have a big roster. Alex White's probably the only guy.
Must be playing 48 minutes a game.
Yeah, forward D.
Yeah,
he's all over the place.
Jackie Moon.
Yeah. I think who else has got some wheels this year? It's kind of hard, you know. We've got the puck quite a lot of the time.
Yeah, I suppose.
Without like no arrogance or anything coming across, but teams tend to defend more against us than
actually get the puck out of the skate.
Yeah. Just going back to your toe drag and stuff. Paints loves a greasy goal. He wants us. He wants us hack and whack around the net. He wants guys stood in front of the goalie. I was saying earlier,
it's
holding guys accountable. Like if your line's out there for 10 seconds in the offensive zone and the D is shooting and you're not in front of the net,
you get off.
Well, your shift's up. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. Who have you got running the bench then? If obviously Paints is.
So we've got Terry England. He's just one of the old boys that have been at Streatham for a while. We've got him and young Stan Ratcliffe. Stan was an under 18 that played on the 2-way with us last year.
Right.
He's played a couple of games with the Blackhawks this year, but he's getting into coaching. So he coaches the under 18s. he's helping coach the Blackhawks, and he runs our bench.
Oh, nice.
Boys love it. He does our. He calls out the starting line up when we all get the team going. He's actually a tennis coach.
Okay.
But he understands the game better than he could play the game.
Yeah, happens.
That happens, yeah. And
sadly, for most of the players I've been watching in the National League this year, they play the game better than they understand it.
No, yeah, he can read the game. He can tell me when I come off, right, I think you should have maybe done this, or that guy needs to do that. And I don't care if he's 18, he's seeing it, he's running the bench. I'll listen to him and take it in.
Yeah, if he's talking sense, it doesn't matter
Yeah.
how old he is.
Yeah.
It goes back to what we were talking about earlier with the face cage thing. It doesn't matter if you're playing men's hockey, if you're coaching men's hockey, if you're reffing, if you're a 16-year-old that's jumping on the line, whatever. Like, everyone should be treated like equally, really.
Yeah.
Speaking of reffing, how's the reffing been in that league? Obviously, it's been a hot topic in the National. It's a hot topic in the Elite League. I'm pretty guilty. I haven't really followed much of the NHL 1 South this year, so I haven't really heard whether it's been good, bad, or indifferent.
Probably indifferent. I've taken a bit of a different role this year rather than chopping them, because I'm captain. I'm trying to sweet talk them, but they all tend to know me and my reputation, so I'm getting penalties that aren't penalties. Well, every player and every team are getting penalties that aren't penalties, and there's a lot of missed calls, but they're reffing our league for a reason and not the National and the Elite. Like,
it's a stage, right?
Yeah.
Right, before we let you go, is there anything else that we want to get off your chest? We are going to be doing this again. We're going to be running it back after the season is finished. We're going to wait and to see what happens with the league, the playoffs, and obviously potentially what looks like the rematch against Solway. But is there anything now that you wanted to add before we let you go?
No, just I'll give Dingo his props just whilst I'm on here. He's been solid for us this year. Sorry, yeah, he's over a goal game. Made actually like 3 or 4 passes this year, which is more than any other year. But he's been a voice in the room this year as well. He's stepped up. He is a senior player now. It feels weird because I've known him since he was a kid, but all these folk that I used to coach conference are now senior vet guys that are getting it done. Like Harvey just played his 500.
What's wrong with you?
I don't know, sorry. Yeah, Harvey was another one that was one of my conference kids back in the day, just played his 500th game in the Bees. So well done to him. No, yeah, it's been good. We'll catch up hopefully when got a few trophies, and we'll go from there.
Awesome. Right, guys, make sure you like, subscribe, comment, share, do all the other usual stuff that we do. Thanks to everyone that has been returning, so keep watching. We do appreciate the channel growth, and we will see you again soon. Peace.